y'all. I was asked to do a review for this company. Adalid is the company's name. It's Adalid gear. This is my honest review of this blanket that they have sent us. It is a beach blanket, and they have given multiple things that you can use it as, like a car seat cover, a tarp, just sitting in the grass, and a beach blanket as well. There's way more uses for it than just that, I will say. We live pretty close to the beach, but not something that's like, oh, let's just walk down to the beach. We do live a couple of minutes away. So we had to kind of make a weekend out of actually getting to the beach, but we did take use of the blanket in other places.
Keeping them terrorists at bay.
So we're using this blanket to sit on, and it's able to get wet. It's supposed to be a beach blanket, but we felt like this is the perfect opportunity to use it right now. Tomorrow we're gonna go off to the beach, and we'll get to use it a little bit then. But it's really cool. My husband and I sat on the blanket, and my boys were dripping wet, and they ran on the blanket a few times, and we just kind of watched the water just kind of like wipe away. It didn't puddle. It didn't, you know, like you get some of those blankets that they're so good at repelling sand or whatever, but then the water itself, it'll puddle, and it's gross. Like, I don't want to sit in water. Another thing that we thought was really cool is while we were sitting there, we were sitting in the shade, but the blanket itself stayed cool. It never got hot. It never got sticky or just gross. It stayed pretty cool. It also had pockets at every single corner. So I was able to keep my phone in one side and have the keys so that we could keep the door locked as we were on the side of the yard and couldn't even see the front. And it was nice to have those pockets so that when the boys did run onto the blanket, they weren't splashing water all over my phone. So that was the first time that we had used it. Packing it up was a breeze. Oh my gosh. Garrett does drum corps, and he just finished, but almost every weekend he was taking a blow-up mattress that was supposed to fit in this spectacular little bag. And my gosh, you had to fold it up a specific way and make sure all that air was out. And if all that air was out, it was not going in that bag. Period. End of story. Not going back in that bag. We just kind of crumpled it up and threw it in the bag, and it fit, and we were like, yes. After that incident, we finally got to get to the beach and make a beach day, and that was even crazier. We don't sit in the dry sand. We have to sit in the wet sand because my kids make sandcastles, and I don't want to have to keep running to the wet sand back to the dry sand just to make one bucket for their sandcastle. By the time I get back to the wet sand, they've already destroyed the one tower that I have created.
It looks magical.
Because we're sitting on wet sand, a lot of the blankets that we've ever brought to the beach get wet, almost like that. And your butt gets wet, and you don't want to sit there anymore because that thing has absorbed all of the water, and so now you're sitting in a puddle of water. This blanket, sitting in the wet sand, it still felt cool. It did not get our bums wet. I was so excited about that. Dry sand is easy to just kind of brush off. Wet sand is a little bit harder because it clumps together, and because it's wet, it usually sticks to the blankets that we are on. No, it doesn't stick. Not at all. It doesn't matter. Just flip it up. And actually, we didn't want to flip it up because there's people around us, so we just took 2 stakes out and folded it over. We didn't even like shake it or anything. We just folded it over. All the sand fell off, and we were able to just crumple it up and throw it back in the bag. But we might actually just buy another one just for the car, and having it just as a spare thing. Honestly, because when we did get into the car, we realized that we could use it in the car seat or on the floor for the sand instead of it getting stuck in my expedition's carpets, which ended up doing. We didn't think it through fully. So, and then both the kids had been sandy, and then they sat down in their car seats, so I ended up having to wash the car seats and everything else. So we thought about getting another one, the blue, and when we get to the car, lining their car seats, since they're so big, lining the car seats and their part of the floor with the blankets, so that when we get out, we just have to shake off the blanket and not have to clean car seats and carpets and seats in general of what it was. We got so much use out of it just the 2 times that we've used it, and we're completely excited to continue using it and possibly purchasing another one just for the simple fact of how amazing it just repelled the sand. Like, I just loved that. I loved how it just was like, boop, done, no shaking the blanket and making everybody around you mad. We just kind of folded it over, and anyway, I think that's about it, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and it's my honest opinion. It's amazing. We all loved it when we used it, so definitely recommend.